as soon as soon. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be in Spanish. I want everybody, well, this after it's going to be in Spanish. I want everybody to stand up and give us a big applause because we're going to do the second season of El Domo con Iván Valenzuela, segunda temporada El Domo, chilenos cambiando el mundo. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Make some noise. Come on. All right. So, we have a saying here, ladies first. Our mentors are going to introduce themselves. Miley, please, step ahead. This way. All right, a big applause for Miley.
Come on. Okay, before I get started, I'm going to ask everyone for a favor, and that favor is to hold up your phone. And I'm going to take a big panoramic view of everyone because this is actually a very cool perspective in the dome. El Domo, is that right? El Domo? All right, so bear with me. Ready? It's going to be painless, I promise, I hope. All right, ready? And yeah. Perfect. Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you. So I am very excited to be here. Like many of my fellow mentors, I live in San Francisco right now. So I work for AOL. Who has heard of AOL? Who is surprised that they still exist? That's okay. I get that all the time. Admittedly, when I first joined AOL about 1.5 years ago, I went into the interview and had absolutely no idea what they were doing. We were making zero revenue in mobile and tablet, which is really my area of expertise. And I'm proud to say that in the past 1.5 years, our revenue has increased at a percentage that I don't know and can't calculate off the top of my head, but we had our first $1 million week, and today is actually the day that AOL has surpassed Yahoo in terms of overall revenue sales. So it's a very exciting space to be in. Can you still hear me? Yeah? Very exciting space to be in, and I love my job. So I currently oversee mobile monetization on the West Coast. So it means that I work with products like TechCrunch and Huffington Post, Engadget, MoviePhone, and work with them to create not only the product side on tablet and mobile, but also work on the sales side to ensure that our sellers know what's going on, to ensure that our clients understand why the mobile ecosystem is so vital to their business. And I'm able to sit on both ends of the product and sales equation, and I think that's so beneficial. Prior to being at AOL, I worked on the agency side of things at a small, well, then independent agency called AKQA. And while I was there, I ran their mobile team, which means that I met with startups in various stages, much like all of you, and I would evaluate them on behalf of my brands. So I sat in a great, great, great spot where I got to say, you know, I represent these huge companies, these very, very exciting companies like Nike and Xbox and Gap, and the list goes on. And I was able to say, you know what? On behalf of this brand, I want to work with you. I was able to evaluate Foursquare when no one was running on Foursquare. I ran the first deal with Looped. So I was able to get in at these very, very early stages and say, this is a great opportunity for brand X because of X, Y, and Z reasons, and to be able to grow with these startups. And I think that is such an amazing opportunity, and part of the reason I'm here today, and I think part of the reason why these guys found me somewhere in Silicon Valley. So what am I most excited about? My background is mobile and it's in tablet, but all those things aside, I'm excited to hear what you're excited about. I think part of the sell and part of getting others interested in your brand and opportunity is to be so confident in that idea, to show your enthusiasm. My one piece of advice, and this is something that the mentors have been talking about a little bit, and I think if there's one thing you remember from me, aside from go mobile, it's that there's a difference between listening and hearing. Does that make sense to everyone? One of them is a fundamental, experience that most of us have. It talks about identifying the sounds and all of the sound waves that are going on, and interpreting them in some way. But to actually listen, to understand what someone is trying to tell you, whether that be story, advice, criticism. I was told today that I was apparently very mean to someone, or maybe a company in San Francisco, so hopefully I'm not too mean. But it means taking a moment to digest the information that we're giving you. All of us are here today because we're excited to hear about what you have to say, and we want to help you grow. But I think with that means that you take advice, you take criticism, and really try to listen and own in on what exactly we're trying to have you understand. So with that, I don't know who's next up, but I look forward to meeting all of you, listening to all of your pitches, learning about your companies, and over the next, I guess, week or so, please come by, say hello. Yeah, that's about it. So welcome. Congratulations on being here.
Thank you so much, Miley. So now, you know this guy. He was in the first season. Come on, Hiroshi. Come over here. A big applause for Hiroshi Wald.
Thank you very much. My name is Hiroshi Wald. I'm Managing Director for Austral Capital Partners. We are a venture capital firm that helps entrepreneurs like yourselves be successful globally. So I'm just really curious, how many of you have pitched a VC or have spent time with a venture?
We need another mic, please.
Showing some emotion and showing why, what? How fucking awesome big ass market. I think that's a good phrase. So what I wanted to talk about today was what goes on in the brain of a venture capitalist. And what is it that this person on the other side of the table from you is thinking about? How are they filtering what you're talking about, right? And this is not going to be everything, but this is going to give you an idea for how to be effective with someone that you're trying to get investment from, because that's eventually what you're going to be doing if you make it through this program this week, and if you make it through the couple months in Santiago and you end up in the Silicon Valley. This is the kind of stuff that you'll be doing there. So there's a model that I like to talk about, all right? And there's 3 parts of the body that I want you guys to focus on. The number 1 part is the head, all right? The second part, the hands, and the third part, the heart. So let's talk about the head. So we want to know how you're thinking. We want to know how you listen and whether or not you hear feedback. We want to know if perhaps you're thinking about your business in a logical way, or are you asking us to make a leap of faith? One of the things that I notice with companies, especially younger and earlier stage companies, I'll ask a question. So why would somebody use this product, right? Why? And the answer oftentimes starts with this one really bad word for me. And that word is maybe. Okay, that's a big red flag. If your answer to why someone uses your product is maybe they might want to, well, maybe they would try, well, maybe these people, that means you don't really know why it is that your product actually is valuable and who it's valuable for, right? So we want to know that you've done the work and that you've done the math, and you can show us data. You can tell us why what you're doing is incredibly valuable and for what audience and how big that audience is and whether or not that audience is going to be growing over time. So those are some of the basic things that we want to know about how you think. The second thing is, how do you behave or act or take action? So your hands are about making things. So we want to know, are you building? Are you creating? Are you going out and getting customers today, tonight, tomorrow? Do you have a sense of urgency? Another word that is a little bit of a dangerous word, I think, in my view, that I hear from some participants is my project. This is my project. I'm kind of working on this project, and it's not a business, right? So a business and an entrepreneur is I'm actually going out and putting this in front of people who can use this. I want to put this in front of people who have the pain, that have such deep pain that I want to solve this problem because I lived it myself, right? And that urgency comes from wanting to help other people, wanting to do something significant, something that's amazing for the world. So the best scenario for someone in my position is to be running alongside and having to catch up with the entrepreneur. You guys are moving so quick, you're focused and you love this thing and you want to get it done and out in the market. So we got to be up there with you. The worst case scenario is having to push you, right? Well, this week some things happen. I didn't quite get a chance to talk to customers. And well, tomorrow I'll try to get to it. And next week is another thing. So we've seen that too. And that's a red flag. That's a warning sign. So we want a sense of urgency. At the same time, we also want to see that you can learn. So are you taking action, and then are you seeing how the market reacts? And if it's a positive reaction, do you continue to add to that positive feedback loop? Or if there was a negative reaction, if someone said, you know what, I don't really understand your product, I don't understand why this is useful, do you take that feedback and ask more questions? Do you say, well, help me understand. What is it that you're saying, right? Ask questions. Delve deeply into your customer's mindset so that you understand what it is that they're trying to tell you, so that you can learn and then continue to iterate and take that information back into your product. So the final part that I think is really important is heart. So, and to me, it's about why you're doing the business that you're doing. And for someone who I think who's effective, as the gentleman from Whitio talked about, it's about having an emotional bond to what you do. And emotional bonds come from things that are fundamental. Your mother, your father had a problem that you're trying to solve for something that you saw them go through, something that you went through as a kid, something that tons of your friends want to do and you're really excited about, but you don't have that solution just quite yet, so you're building it for them, all right? That's emotionally driven. Versus the companies that say, well, you know what, there's an angle here. It's really tough to do package delivery, and I'm not in that business, but you know what, it's a growing market. I could probably become a millionaire. That's why I want it. I want that angle to it. And it's the difference between a mercenary and a missionary. How many of you guys have seen this video from John Doerr in the Silicon Valley talking about mercenaries and missionaries? Raise your hand if you've seen it. Oh, you're one person. So we're going to play this video. It's about 3 minutes long, and John Doerr is a legendary venture capitalist. And he talks about this notion of missionaries and mercenaries and what makes them different. And I'll come back at the very end and have some comments on what he's talking about. So as soon as the video is ready to go, we'll hit play.
More differences between the mercenaries and the missionaries. Well, the mercenaries are opportunistic, always interested in the pitch and the deal, and they're kind of sprinting for the short run, as opposed to the missionaries, who are much more strategic. They're focused on the really big idea, forming a partnership that will last. And they know that this business of innovating is something that takes a long time. They look at it more as a marathon. The missionaries obsess on the competition. They create a kind of aristocracy of the founders. They're not inclusive of the rest of the team. And they're really driven by their financial statements, as opposed to their mission and value statements, for example, or obsessing on the customer. I won't read all of this slide to you, but I think it's the difference between an attitude of entitlement and an attitude of contribution. It was not very many years ago during the boom when a Fortune reporter interviewed a graduate, second-year student, I think, at the Stanford Business School, and he said he felt his career would be a failure if in 3 years he hadn't made $5 million on his startup. And well over half the plan was writing the business plans for half the class was writing the business plans for their new ventures. I think writing the plans for the new ventures is fine, but to be sure, if you wouldn't take on an opportunity or a mission, if the reason you're taking on a mission or an opportunity is for the money you'll make, I believe you'll fail. You should find your passion, find that mission, and take it on, even if no one paid you anything for it, because then you and your team will be motivated to succeed. Somebody asked me the question, well, what satisfied you the most in your life? And I want to get to that in a second. But I do think the difference between a mercenary and a missionary is the difference between someone who's living the deferred life plan, i.e., I'll put off until the future having a full life, and the whole life plan, one that works. There's a difference between the lust for making money and, to be sure,